Hello creative friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are putting together a thank you card from an SVG cut file. I've got some items out here that you might want to include to make it easier on your project to put together. I've got all my pieces pre-cut out from the cut file. Now the cut file link is below if you want to grab it. If you found this video from Etsy, then this is just going to be a walkthrough on putting it together. I have a couple different glues ready. I've got a fine tip glue for some of our small pieces. I've got a larger tip for our bigger pieces. You can also use like an Elmer's glue for some of your bigger pieces, or even smaller pieces. You can use a glue stick. Any of those will work. I've also got some tweezers and a pickup tool for the smaller pieces. You don't need either of these, but if you have them, sometimes they can make life easier. And then what you probably will want is some type of heavy object. I've got acrylic blocks, which I use for stamping. You can use a book, you can use a plate, you can use anything that has some weight to it. And we're just going to use it to put on our project to help the glue stick. Okay, so first we cut out all our pieces. With the base of the card, we just fold it at the score line. I've got this bone folder that I like to press down my crease with, just to make sure it's good and solid there. Put that to the side. I'm also going to put the filler piece that is going to go on top of the card. I'm going to put that to the side as well, and I'm going to start gluing some of our pieces together. Now, this card has a rose feature at the bottom, so this is pretty easy. We just want to make sure that we have the top and the bottom lined up, and you'll know because if it's not lined up, you get these odd shapes. And then also make sure that you have the top portion on the right side, because if it's flipped, it also won't line up. So there we go. Got that. This is a place where the fine tip glue bottle will work really nice, but again, use what you have. If you've got Elmer's glue or glue stick, whatever, anything that has some liquid adhesive. I would not use a tape runner on this piece, only because you're going to get a little bit of tape edges outside into the hole area of the rose. And of course, if it's all you have, make do, but you'll get a cleaner glue line with liquid adhesive. Okay, so now I got to get this back. There we go. Now, one thing that's nice with glue too is I didn't have it quite lined up, but now I had a few moments to move it so I can get the pieces lined up. I'll just put that to the side. That's actually going to adhere pretty well, but since I have that, I'm going to do that. Okay, we don't need the sentiment right now. I'm going to move that over. What we do need are the green pieces for our leaves. Now, these are, I don't even want to say the trick. These are the trickiest part, but they're not tricky. They're just tiny. And I cut out extra. So one of my tips when you're cutting out small pieces on your Silhouette or Cricut is to cut more than you need. You'll notice I threw this one off to the side because I just didn't like the edge. It kind of had a little bit of a rip. So this gives me options of which ones I want to use. Plus, I already have lost one of the ones that I cut, so it was nice to have extra. Now, we've got some layering pieces, and this is what I'm going to try to use my tweezers for. Actually, no, maybe I'll use Actually, you can use your fingers just fine, but if you have any of the tweezers or pickup tools. And then we're going to glue those together to just give a little bit of shadowing and a little bit more of interest to our leaf pieces. Okay, so again, these are kind of tiny. That one fell. Let me get that glue up. But I got that glued together just fine. Put that to the side, and we need 5 of these. Of course, you can make as many as you like. You can put more or less. Let's just get this. And again, this is not difficult. It's just a little bit challenging because they're small, but it's the little details that make a homemade card so memorable to the recipients. So I think putting these little touches on can be worth it. Well, that one I had a little bit of extra glue, so it kind of seeped out the edges. Just going to wipe that up. And we got 2 more. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to do, because I have extra, I'm going to glue 1 extra in case I lose it. These tiny pieces can get stuck to things, fall on the floor. And the last thing I want to do is have to get out my cutting mat again to cut a whole new set when I've kind of moved on to the next step of the assembling process. Now for the big pieces like the rose and the card base, I don't cut doubles unless I'm making more than 1 card. But for the little leaves, I will do that. Okay, and then I'm getting some glue on my fingers, which is making my dexterity not quite as good. Alrighty there, so this gives me an extra, and if any of them don't look quite right when I'm ready to glue, I can pick which ones I like. Okay, so let's put that to the side. Now, what we want to do here, actually let me put my tip back in. Don't want that to dry out. So I use a fatter tip glue for this large piece. You don't have to, but it just gives me a larger area of glue. And this one's running out, which also is another reason I want to use it up. But if this card is going to go in the mail, you want it to be really well adhered together, because it might get bumped around and thrown around and not handled quite as dainty as we think it should. So I like to use a good glue adhesive. Now on this particular card, if you wanted to leave off this rectangle piece, you could just move that there for now. You totally could do that. You could just put the roses straight onto the white piece. The other thing is you can do these pieces in any color. I've done sort of a blue and teal with pink and red, but if you want to do yellow and orange, shades of purple, did I say red and orange? I meant yellow orange, but anyway, you could do any color you like, is my point. So now part of the design is to have the roses slightly off the blue center area, and also we'll have some of the leaves kind of hanging down. So you can put this any angle way that you like, that you think looks good. Let's do that. I'm going to put the roses down first. This one's kind of getting empty, because then that'll help me know where to place the sentiment. Now, where did I want that? Let's do that. Okay. Now, feel free to use the picture from the cut file as a way of knowing where to place your items, or just do whatever you like. If you want to mix it up, do something a little bit different. All of that works great. Okay, I think I'm going to do that. So I am going to do the lower portion first, because I want to make sure that is lined up next to my roses the way I like. And then there's more space at the top that I can adjust the thanks, or the thank, as I need to. See, I already think I moved the roses a little bit, and it's totally fine. No one's gonna know. Alrighty, and then we'll do this. I do this portion first because I can line it up with my U, and then the T will fit in where it lines up. If I did the T first, I could potentially have this going way off the edge or way over here, and I don't want that. So I want the thank, or the end of the K, to be right around where the edge of the U is. If you have a ruler, you can pull it out. Make sure you're lined up. I eyeballed it, but I did pretty good, and I usually do not do good with that, so. And then now I know where my T's gonna fit. So this sentiment is not that thin, but it still is really nice to have the thin tip glue bottle, because it helps not have too much extra glue coming out of the edges. Alrighty, now lastly, what I want to do with these leaves is I kind of want to put them down where I think I want them to go before I glue. And I think I'm going to do that because I had moved my rose angles a little bit different than the diagram. I'm putting my leaves in slightly different places, but what I want to do is nestle the leaves kind of in the crux of where these come down, and I think that looks good. So let's do that. I'm using my pokey tool, not my pokey tool, my pickup tool. Oops, maybe I'm not going to use that. We won't use that. It had a little bit of, I don't know what this is, but it left a little bit of black mark that I was able to get off, so we won't worry about that. Sometimes that can be more useful when you have gems or something that's not paper that it can leave a mark on. So this works just fine with our fingers. Whoops. And voila. I have my one extra leaf, we'll put that aside. Make sure our glue is closed. And I will probably put this on for a little bit after the video's over, just to make sure everything is adhered down. But what a beautiful thank you card that you can give and write your sentiment or write your message to whoever you're thankful to. And someone is gonna really love getting this homemade card. If If you have any questions, leave them below in the comments. And if you want to grab the cut file for this, there's a link below in the comments. And I hope you have a great crafty day. Bye.